Elin Williams, our touchline reporter, if you like, at the conference. She's got one of the key players with her there, the Health Minister, Mark Drayford. Afternoon, Elin.
Hi Carl, yes indeed, one of the key players, Mark Drayford. He is the man of the moment, he is the new Health Minister and he's here to talk to us now. Mark Drayford, some of the protesters, they have arrived outside the conference. They're worried about their local hospitals, they're worried about their local services. What's your message to them?
Well, my message to them is that there is no choice but change in the health service. I think they know that, I think people around Wales know that. There is a process that has been underway for a long time now in some parts of Wales. My job is to see that through to a conclusion.
I think people probably accept that there's a need for change. I think they object to the way the change is being forced upon them. Do you sympathise at all with their point of view?
I think whenever change happens in the health service, it is really difficult. When the current changes are brought to a conclusion, I will want to review the way in which the process has gone out. I will want to listen from people who've been involved in it to see how we could do it better in the future. I think that's all really important. I attach tremendous value to people who are so attached to their health service that they want to come and protest at a place like this in a day like today. So I take their views and their voices very seriously, and I will want to learn from the way that things have been done this time.
You might be a new health minister, but you're not new to the subject, you're not new to the area. From your observations so far, do you think there have been things that have gone wrong with the process?
I think it's very, very difficult to get the process right. I spoke to the Patient Association a few weeks ago about the way that things had been done in Wales to see whether things had been done in a way here that would be done better elsewhere. And they assured me that wherever change is attempted, the process is difficult and people are often dissatisfied with it. So I don't think we've done anything that's uniquely wrong, or that we've done things in a way that is particularly unhelpful to people. But I do think that we ought to review it. I do think we ought to talk to those people involved, and I do think we ought to learn those lessons.
But I suppose at the moment the important thing is the outcome. The outcome is still a little uncertain because it's under review by yourself and the First Minister. What time scale are we looking at now? When will you decide on the final outcome of this?
Well, things are going at different speeds in different parts of Wales. The First Minister is going to make the determinations in relation to North Wales, as he had already said he would. And he said in the Assembly last week that he hoped to do that within the next week or so. In West Wales, the Community Health Council is having one more go at a discussion with the local health board. We will see where that gets to by the 5th of April, and whether that lands on my desk. And in South Wales, we're slightly earlier in the process, and we're not expecting that to come to a conclusion until further towards the end of this year.
It is a contentious issue politically, isn't it? Kevin Jones in his speech this morning again reiterated the fact there was no going back, that there needs to be change. How difficult is it going to be for you as a new health minister to get this message across?
It isn't an easy message to get across because people are so attached to the health service that they have. And even people who are attached to the health service they have now sometimes don't realise the things that have changed in their own hospital, in their own community over the last 5 or 10 years. But we have to go on making the message, explaining to people why change is not an option, it is a necessity, and then making decisions. Because I think the other thing we know is that once people know what is going to be happening in their local communities, they gather around the health service, they get on with the job, and they live with the new sets of services that are available to them.
We're here in North Wales, in Llandudno. It's a very contentious issue here, isn't it, locally? We know with the Glancoed Hospital down the road, a series of local hospitals. I know the protesters outside are keen to save their local hospital. But is that a fight really they've already lost?
Well, many of the things that were proposed for North Wales have now been agreed by the Community Health Council and so on. So, in some ways, some of those decisions are now more or less where they need to be. There are a small number still left to be made. They will be made very shortly, and then I'm sure all those people whose attachment to the health service drives them to make these sort of protests will want to make a real success of the health service that they have in the future.
Were you happy to hear Kevin Jones today in his speech emphasising the health service and the need to change?
Very happy to hear what the First Minister said. A speech with a series of very important messages in it and some core themes about health in there too.
There we are, Mark Drayford. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. There you are, Carl, one of the key players. We'll hand back to you now.